Claire Langston was only 23, but the mirror she stared into each morning showed eyes dulled by exhaustion and hope stretched to thin. The kind of exhaustion that doesn't come from physical labor but from dreaming hard, failing harder, and waking up the next day still pretending tomorrow will be different. It wasn't that she lacked ambition. Claire had more grit in her pinky than some had in their whole spine. She graduated from community college with a degree in culinary arts and high hopes of opening her own catering business. She spent sleepless nights creating menus, watching YouTube tutorials on plating techniques, and saving every penny from the diner job she hated. But passion doesn't always pay the rent. The business fizzled after 6 months. Clients complained of late deliveries thanks to her unreliable borrowed car, and her landlord kicked her out of her shared kitchen space for missing 2 months of rent. Still, Claire pivoted. She launched Meal Glow, a line of health-focused, gluten-free meal prep boxes. She learned about kale. She studied nutrition labels. She spent hours writing quirky Instagram captions like "Spinach today, slay a morrow," but with no money for real marketing and no consistent delivery method. Her second dream went the way of the first into the graveyard of almost s. What cut the deepest weren't the failures. It was the promises. "I got you. I'll place an order soon. Send me your details." Everyone offered words. No one sent cash. Claire learned the hard way hope can sometimes be crueler than despair. She shared a tiny apartment in a rundown part of town, where cockroaches were as common as dust and the hallway lights always flickered like a horror movie set. Her roommates changed every few months, cash-strapped girls like her, riding the roller coaster of trying to make it in a world that rarely played fair. Her one dream that never died was owning a cozy restaurant. Nothing fancy, no velvet menus or snooty maitre d's. Just a warm space filled with the aroma of rosemary chicken, laughter bouncing off rustic brick walls, and regulars who felt like family. But that dream needed capital. Claire didn't have any. And after borrowing $3,000 from a loan shark the year before, which ballooned to $9,000 in interest and threats, she'd sworn never to borrow again. She was done dreaming. Until one hungry night, everything changed. It was 11:47 p.m. Claire sat in bed, chewing the end of a pen, scrolling Instagram to distract from her grumbling stomach. She landed on a sponsored ad that made her stop. A glowing woman holding a baby. Behind her stood a smiling couple holding hands. The caption: "We found our miracle through surrogacy. Thank you to the women who carry love for others. Ready to change a life in yours? Contact at Hopebridge Surrogacy." Claire blinked. Surrogacy? She'd heard of it vaguely. She knew it involved carrying a baby for someone else. She didn't know anyone personally who had done it, but she had read enough to understand the basics. And the pay? The website said $40,000 base compensation, additional medical and living stipends. Claire's mouth went dry. She clicked. She read the smiling testimonials, saw pictures of other young women, glowing and pregnant, standing next to grateful families. The application process looked easy. She filled it out. She didn't sleep that night. Within 2 weeks, Claire had been approved. Blood tests, psychological screening, just a 10-minute Zoom call, and dozens of digital forms followed. She skimmed most of them. Some were pages of legal jargon she didn't understand. She paused at a few sections, ones titled Dependency Clause and Termination Options, but her eyes were tired. And her heart was loud. She wanted this. She needed this. She signed. The couple she was matched with, Tim and Danny L., were professionals in their mid-40s based in California. She met them over a series of video calls. They seemed kind, even if a little distant. Danny L. had suffered 5 miscarriages. Tim said they had tried everything: adoption, IVF, but it never worked. Now they were pinning their hopes on her. Claire felt special, needed, purposeful. For the first time in years, she wasn't hustling for scraps, she was part of a miracle. Pregnancy wasn't easy, she had morning sickness, insomnia, cravings, but she pushed through. Every month, she submitted medical updates. The agency wired her small monthly stipends. She sang to the baby at night. She prayed for him. At week 16, she learned the baby was a boy. She smiled and emailed the agency with the news. There was no reply. 3 days passed. Then 5. Then the agency replied with an emotionless email. We regret to inform you that the commissioning parents have chosen to terminate the agreement. Please refer to Section 8 of your contract. Claire's blood ran cold. Terminate? She opened the 24-page PDF, searched, found Section 8. In the event that the commissioning parents choose to terminate the agreement prior to week 20, and the financial dependency clause has not been activated, the agency is released from all responsibility for continued compensation or post-care. Her hands shook. She hadn't ticked that box. No one had explained it to her. And now, the baby she carried, the child she was growing inside her, was not wanted. Because he was a boy? She called the agency. They didn't answer. She texted Tim and Danielle. This number is no longer available. They had blocked her. Claire told her mother. Her mom wept, not out of sympathy, but shame. You used your womb like a wallet. She spat. Don't come home with that child. Don't bring disgrace into our house. Claire hung up. She curled up on the apartment floor that night, a pillow between her knees and her arms around her belly. She sobbed until her body trembled. The next morning, she did something bold. She recorded a video. She didn't glamorize it, no filters. No tears for effect, just truth. I was desperate, she said, but I still gave this baby everything. And now I've been discarded, like a used cup. 9 minutes. She uploaded it, and the internet listened. The video hit 10,000 views within hours, then 100,000. By the next day, it had 1.2 million. Claire's inbox exploded. Some messages were vile, but most were supportive. Single moms sent prayers. Women sent baby supplies. Men offered money, some with strings, but some without. Then came a message from someone named Linda Chen, a lawyer. Sharp, direct, fierce. I've seen your video. I believe you have a case. No charge. Let me help. Linda dug deep. The contract, she noticed, had a flaw. The agency had failed to countergism on a key clause about psychological counseling. That violated surrogacy compliance laws in their state. Also, no official confirmation of informed consent. That alone made the contract vulnerable to a breach suit. She drafted a notice of breach in bad faith negotiation. She served it to the agency. They blinked. Afraid of scandal, they settled. Claire received full compensation, postnatal care coverage, emotional distress compensation, legal fee coverage. A good will grant $15,000 to restart her business. But one decision remained. Keep the child or give him up? Claire wanted to keep him. But she wasn't ready. Her heart said yes. Her reality said no. Then Linda made another call. A couple she had once represented. Mike and Jen had been trying for a baby for a decade. No luck, no child. They didn't care about gender. They cared about love. They met Claire. All three of them cried in the courthouse hallway the day the adoption was finalized. 1 year later, Claire opened her restaurant, a quaint little place on 3rd Street. She called it Second Chances. The couple had donated generously. More than she asked. More than she deserved, she thought. But they said, you gave us a family. Now Claire serves warm bread, rosemary chicken, and apple cobbler. Locals come for the food. They stay for the story. Every table has a small card with a QR code. Scan it and you get her video. The original one. She never took it down.